Desperate's kind of like a harsh word, but kind of the right one. He should be back any minute. Like, do you need to talk to him? And he was like, oh no, I just arrested him. Yeah. Hi, hello. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are a returning viewer, clicker, subscriber, commenter, oh gee, thank you a little bit extra. Can you be a little quieter? Yeah, sorry. So I know I look a little crazy right now. This is not the makeup look that I had planned on filming, but I like literally was just daydreaming about it today and I like how it came out. So I have a little Instagram video on it if you're interested, because that's not what today's video is about. Today, I thought we would do another server slash bartender storytime rant video. Obviously, at the moment, the past couple months, I have not been serving slash bartending, but I still have plenty of years of it behind me and plenty of stories. Obviously, I'm sure more stories will come about when I go back to work, which will hopefully be next month. We shall see. I do want to extend just send some love to anyone working in the restaurant industry right now who is either still working and, you know, considered essential, and that's in its own way stressful, and then people who have been laid off like myself, which is also stressful. It is not my full-time job, so I'm okay, but I still feel it, and that's stressful enough. So just sending my love to all my restaurant workers, because I know you guys work your asses off and deal with the kind of stuff I'm about to talk about today. If you are a restaurant worker, make sure you thumbs up this video, because otherwise that's just really rude, quite honestly. So the first story is going to be from well, technically my first serving job. I'm not going to give too many details why we called this, so it's an older couple, but we always just identified them. We called them shorty shorts because for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into it, not that I think they would ever watch my videos, but like just in case, because this is a local couple. I never see them around anymore, thank God, but the husband always wear shorts no matter what time of year it is. I'm not even kidding. It will be winter and he will have shorts on. So we always just called them shorty shorts, and they always sat at a specific table 14 I think it was. That's how we kind of like referred to them. And they usually, I feel like they usually came in for breakfast. At least that was when I dealt with them the most. Basically, this is the kind of customer that like you just try to please, even though you know they're never going to be pleased. If you're really just never satisfied, why do you keep coming back? They would come in every single week. I think they would even come in more than once a week sometimes. When I like really got acquainted with them, I was working Sunday breakfast, and I always worked Sunday breakfast alone, like from open until pretty much lunchtime. So I had everyone, and pretty much everyone was a regular, which was actually really, really nice. And I had a lot of very nice regulars during this time period too. But these were just a whole nother kind. They would come at like the end of breakfast. We couldn't do breakfast and lunch at the same time. We had to do one or the other. And I think we switched over either at 11 or noon. I can't remember what it was on Sundays, but they would always come like right towards the end and demand breakfast. I mean, you were cooking them breakfast. It didn't even matter if it was like 12:02. You were cooking them breakfast. And the restaurant I worked for, desperate's kind of like a harsh word, but kind of the right one, because they're that they need the money that badly. So anyway, you don't really say no, and there was just always a complaint. There was always a complaint, and usually multiple complaints. Like, it was just never right, and they'd always come back, and literally, and they would joke with us, and we would seriously be like, why do you keep coming back? Like, they just wouldn't be pleased, and they always just wanted stuff for free. Like, that's just how they were. But they kind of didn't take it out on you, which was nice. Sometimes they did, don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. But there's a couple times where they would kind of joke with me. A couple mornings where I was just getting so fed up, and in a joking way, I was like, why do you guys keep coming back? You know, kitchen can't ever seem to get your order right, and I just feel awful every single time. Like, that's kind of how I said it to them. And they were just like, because you guys give us free stuff all the time. That's why. And I was just like, okay, now this next story is kind of like two stories in one. You'll see what I mean by that. So this may actually be the last one I'm telling, because it's a little bit longer, but I don't know, it makes me laugh. I think it's interesting. So you'll see this ends up taking place at 2 restaurants, and you'll see what I mean when I get through the story. So I was working at, we'll say this is restaurant A, and then later we'll bring restaurant B into it. So restaurant A, I was working the bar on, I want to say it was Valentine's Day. We were swamped. I mean, that's why I think it was Valentine's Day, because it was seriously like you are just completely booked. You're on an hour wait. Everywhere has an hour wait. Like even Friendly's would probably have an hour wait kind of thing. So I was at restaurant A. I was bartending. I was the only bartender on all day. Don't know why they did it. Actually, I think the other bartender called out. I think that's what happened, but regardless. So I was the only bartender on. So I'm making the drinks for the entire restaurant and my bar, of course. Like I am completely slammed, and the kitchen just gets so backed up. And I mean, like, if any of you have worked in restaurants where I forget the name of the system, but it's like you have like green tickets, yellow tickets, and red tickets. When I say I was looking at the expo screen and everything was red. Everything. It was so bad. The managers had to go back there and help cook and bust in their butts, and it was insane. Really crazy, but I'm in the zone. I personally feel like bartending is slightly easier than serving, only in the way that you have everything around you. Like in the terms of the distances that you're going and stuff, you have everything you need near you. And a lot of the times bars are right in front of the expo window, so your food is getting to you even quicker. And the servers who are there waiting for their food are, you know, if they see your ticket come up, they're gonna run it real quick while they're there, while they're waiting for their food. So I was definitely slammed, but I was like in a good zone and I was ready. And really the only thing that was stressing me out was actually my food. Like I was okay keeping up with the tickets. Like I had my system going and whatnot. So I had this couple, and they were really nice. The husband ordered like an appetizer, a flatbread, I think, as his entree, and his wife ordered a soup and salad. So someone ran the flatbread thinking that it was, and they had waited, oh god, like I think almost 40 minutes at this point, and someone thought the flatbread was an appetizer. So they freaked out. Like, I'm not mad at them, it's okay, but they freaked out and ran it thinking that they like never got their appetizer. So they ran that because they thought that like they didn't realize that it was that it was meals. They thought it was appetizer. So they're like, okay, let me just at least get the flatbread out. Like they're probably waiting on just that, whatever. So they bring that out, and I'm just like, okay, they'll be right out with the rest of your food. So I like saw the server put it down, and then I go snag. I'm like, is the soup and salad up, or do you need me to get that? And she was just like, oh no, I'm getting it right now. I'm getting it right now. And I was like, okay. She's like, I just wanted to bring that over while it was hot and sitting in the window. And I was like, absolutely. So I go over and I'm like, she's making your soup and salad right now. Like, so, you know, it'll be right over, but do you need anything else so that when that comes over, you guys can just enjoy your food? They're like, no, we're good. And they were nice. Like, I know they made a comment about the fact that it took like 40 minutes for a flatbread and a soup and salad, but they were really nice about it. So then my manager, that's a whole nother story, this specific manager, but anyway, they brought over the salad, and then he comes behind the bar and like comes over to me and he goes, so we don't have the soup, we ran out of the soup. It was a soup of the day, so like they didn't have, you know, an unlimited amount. And I was like, what do you mean? That ticket has been up there for over 40 minutes and you're gonna run the rest of the food after 40 minutes and tell me that you don't have the soup? Okay. He was like, we only have chowder left. So I go to the woman, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was just speaking to him. He just told me that we didn't have the soup of the day anymore, but we have a chowder coming for you. Is that okay? Or did you want to do something else? If you want something else, they will, you know, rush it for you and we'll get it out to you right away. And she was just like, no, it kind of sucks, but it's fine. I'll just go with chowder because like we already have everything else and like we're starving. So I was like, okay. Manager comes back over to me like maybe a minute later and goes, so we just ran out of the chowder. We're not gonna have another batch for like 10 minutes because we have to warm it up. And I was like, why are you telling me? At this point, don't even come to me. Go talk to them, because that is literally ridiculous. How did no one in the kitchen communicate that to you? Like how? You need to tell those people immediately that you don't have it so we can resolve it quickly, not when the rest of the food is up. I was kind of just like, okay, you go talk to them then. I'm gonna give them a free drink. and you're probably gonna give them free meals. They were fairly nice about it, and they could tell it wasn't my fault. Like, they're like, it's not your fault, honey, like it's okay. So that was just horrible, and I was so mad. Now fast forward, that was at restaurant A. Now at least a couple years later, we are at restaurant B. Again, I am bartending, not serving. I am behind the bar. This couple comes in, and they definitely looked familiar, but I have seen so many locals that like a lot of people just end up looking familiar, and I can't quite pinpoint it. And a lot of times it's just that I've waited on them before, whether it was at this restaurant or another one, whatever. So it wasn't like I know them, like I absolutely know them. I just like had this weird feeling, and I really couldn't pinpoint it. I was just like, I feel like I know them, but I don't think I waited on them before. They both ordered soups and salads, and the soups were the soup of the day, so that's always limited. So I was like, okay, just because that's the soup of the day and it's really popular, it was like one of our biggest sellers. So like if you were ordering with someone and you were even somewhat busy at that moment, you're like, okay, let me just make sure before I get my hopes up that I'm gonna get that for you, so that way we can just settle it if we can't, because it's in such high demand and it goes so quick. So they're like, oh yeah, go ahead. So I double check with my kitchen manager. I said, I'm gonna be the next ticket rung in. I was like, these people really want it. They came here just for that. So do we have enough? He was like, yes. So I'm like, okay, great. So I rang it in, and the customers wanted their salads first and then their soups. Again, I told the kitchen manager this because, you know, a little bit of time was gonna go by. So if he only had so many left, if he had 5 left, he still had to save 2 for me, even if it took a little while, because they wanted to enjoy their salads and their first drink and then have their soups. So kitchen manager goes on a long ass smoke break, and I mean, like, I don't know where this man went. He goes on a break, and the other person who's in the kitchen, who definitely heard everything that I said, like I was speaking to the kitchen manager, but I was definitely speaking to, there was only 2 people in the kitchen, like you heard me, you were looking at me, you nodded, okay, we're all in agreement, we understand, yes, okay. So I go and to go get my soups when they're ready, and we don't have any more soup left. And I was so mad. I was like, I specifically said you needed to save 2 portions for me. So did you not take the 2 portions out of the thing so that the servers who don't know don't take it? And he was just like, oh, like, I'm sorry, I thought all the servers knew. I thought they would just leave it for you. And I was just like, that's not how it works. Like, if they need a soup, they're gonna come get it. And then once it runs out, it runs out. If I tell you I need something specific, you have to hold it back there, because I can't go around and tell every single server when it's a football Sunday and I'm trying to get everyone's, like, I go over and I say, I'm so sorry. I'm really upset personally by this, but the kitchen didn't save the last 2 portions. When it's something that really is the kitchen's fault, I'm not afraid to say it. I will own up if it's my fault, and if it's something that I really can't explain, like it really is the kitchen, that's their fault. If they wanted to talk to the kitchen manager, go ahead. I was just like, I'm so sorry, but we have these other soups, would you like either of them? And then they start laughing, and I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, good, like they're not that mad, it's okay, even though they specifically said they like came here just for our soup of the day. And I was just like, I'm so sorry, and they were kind of just like laughing, and they're like, unbelievable. And I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, unbelievable. And I was like, I know, I'm so, like, I really feel awful. And they're like, no, you don't understand. Like, almost a year ago, we were at restaurant A, and it was Valentine's Day, and the same thing happened, so we must be cursed. And I was just like, I was your bartender. I literally remember that, and I was having that going through my head as soon as that happened. I was like, just like the nice couple at restaurant A, like last year. And they're like, oh my god, no way, we thought we recognized you, but like, we weren't sure, like we knew we recognized you, but we didn't connect those dots or anything. And I was like, me either. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm like good for you guys or bad for you guys. Like, one of us is the problem. Like, either I'm the problem or you're the problem. I don't know which one it is, but if you see me, I just don't think you guys should order soup, because I don't think it's gonna work out. And it was, luckily ended up being like more funny than anything. And I gave them a gift card and whatnot, and it was okay. But it was just like, I don't know, it was strange, kind of like a full circle moment. And I realized it's not like a horror story, like it's a horror story to me, but luckily the customer was really nice and like sweet about it. So I guess it's kind of a good one. And actually this just popped in my head. We'll say one more little quick story where I'm working at this restaurant. I think I was actually serving this day, and we have a patio, so it's like it gets so busy. And if any of you guys work in a place where you have a patio, you understand the struggle. It gets so insane. Like, you get on your shift at 5 o'clock, and before you know it, it's 10 p.m. and you've served like 40 tables, and like it's insane. And the stressful thing about restaurants that have a separate patio is typically, at least in, you know, a lot of cases, unless you're in a huge restaurant, your kitchen is not as equipped, not as, what's the word I'm looking for? Efficient, that's what I'm looking for. It's not as efficient as obviously when it is when you don't have the patio open, because you have, in our case, like double the seating now. So it's just, things don't go as quickly. You only have one dish room, one dishwasher still. So I remember we were just having a horrible lunch. We got our asses absolutely handed to us, and we were short at night. It was like 2:30ish, so we had kind of like had our rush, and we were just like straight up preparing for the night and like what was about to happen, like mentally preparing and like just prepping, trying to get as much ready as we could. So one of the employees went on break, and keep in mind we're short staffed, so we're like already stressed. One of the employees went on break, and they were gonna go like pick up their girlfriend or something, bring them home, and then like come back, because like they shared a car, so it's fine. And so like, and breaks are like half an hour ish. They weren't super strict about them. But so then like maybe 45 minutes later, a police officer walks in and goes, "Is so-and-so your employee? I'm just trying to verify." And we're like, yeah, like he actually should be here. He just left on break, and like he should be back any minute. Like, do you need to talk to him? And he was like, "Oh no, I just arrested him." And we're like, what? He's like, "Yeah, so I guess he's not coming back for the rest of his shift. Sorry guys." And we were just like, and my manager was just like, and then we saw our live flash before our eyes. So that was a shite show. That's what it was. Like, it sucked. We were just like, that is so funny. All right, you guys, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video. If we want another one of these, please let me know. Let me know any crazy stories you have down below. I love talking about them in the comments. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you've made it this far, you have to give it a thumbs up. That's just a YouTube law. If you break it, they fine you like $10,000. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them, okay? Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and I hope I see you guys in my next video. I also, of course, want to send my love, my thanks to all of the first responders, frontline workers right now, and I am sending love and health and happiness to all of you. Please try to stay healthy and as happy and as productive as possible during all this, and this too shall pass. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you in my next video. Bye guys.